Since Ripple has filed for a banking license, they may grow so big that they become important to the US financial system as a whole. In this movie, we'll answer that question. Could they get even bigger? Could they be a bank that is important to the whole world? This video has all the solutions and more. We will also talk about the part that XRP and USD will play in this. What does a CFI mean? A highly important financial institution is a bank, insurance company, or other financial institution that the US government has decided would be very bad for the economy if it went down. Because a CFI is thought to be too big to fail, it has to follow more rules to keep it from failing. Find out more about this here. In the United States, a bank that meets certain requirements set by the federal government is called systemically important. It has a lot to do with how big, complicated, and linked the banking system is. For banks, their CFI classification is mostly based on the size of their assets. Under the Dodd-Frank Act, this started with assets of about $50 billion, 0 cents, but they quickly grew to $250 billion, 0 cents over time. The federal government can give a CFI level to any $100 billion, 0 cents or more financial organization. This is because bank failures are becoming more and more costly. Ripple is already close to this number because it has $37 billion, 0 cents in XRP and trust. The Financial Stability Board Oversight Council looks at each non-bank financial institution individually, taking into account things like the institution's size, its level of debt, how it is linked to other institutions, and how a problem or failure could affect the economy as a whole. There's a lot of talk in Congress and the Trump administration about how stablecoins will be important in the future. It is one of the best places for safe coins to run on any kind of blockchain. What are they going to do now? It will be XRP, RLUSD, and any other kind of money that they can get their hands on that they are widely systemically important to payment systems, not only in the US, but also in other countries. I'll show you that right now. Though I believe that one day you may see Ripple as an internationally significant bank, the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision decides this position by looking at more than just size. They also look at things like cross-jurisdictional activity, interconnectedness, complexity, and not being able to keep going. Being a CFI means that regulators will be looking at them more closely, they will need more capital, and they will have to pass yearly stress tests to make sure they can survive an ordinary liquidation. Ripple is applying to the US Office of Comptroller of Currency for a national banking charter right now. If approved, Ripple would become a federally regulated bank. Both federal and state officials would have to keep an eye on RLUSD. As of now, Ripple is looking for a government master account that would let them use the Fed's payment system. After that, could Ripple become important to the whole system? We talked about 250 billion as the ceiling, but anything over 100 billion could make them eligible. Even if Ripple grows very quickly, the CIFI label still looks at things like how well they work together, how complicated they are, and how well they do with other services the bank offers. Non-banks can be designated as SIFIs, but only after being reviewed by the FSOC, and only for companies whose failure would cause systemic danger. You start to think, hey, I see a lot of Ripple partners on this list. Then you look at the list of banks that are already systemically important in the US. If Ripple was really their own bank, how would these places be different? If these banks were on this list of widely or systemically important ones, where would they be? I think they would be. Here are some things that need to happen in order for CIFIs to make sense. Ripple does most of these things. When we talk about broadly systemically important, I wanted to look at some of this information in more depth, and I'm sure Ripple would meet the requirement. Let me quickly show you this. If the RLUSD value is set at many trillions of dollars, banks will need to hold many trillions of dollars in US dollars. No one has yet fully grasped how bad things are. So Ripple could be a bank worth many trillions of dollars. That is the point I'm making. Bank of America is on this list. They have between $2 and $3 trillion. Banks like HSBC and Citigroup are very big, and Ripple would also be on this list. You can also join to FedWire and FedNow through the global payment systems. You are linked to the CHIPS system and Target 2 in Europe through Ripple. You are linked to CHAPS in the UK, links in Canada and SIPs in China. I could keep going. I could keep going on and on about these links until I get blue in the face. In this sentence, I want to say that I believe people are underestimating how important it is for Ripple to become a bank. And I've already written a lot about this. I thought it was interesting that the day before this was released, I made a video about the same thing. I think people don't understand what will happen when Ripple becomes a bank. Are they going to offer? Customers want to know if they can open an account at Ripple. That's what I really need to know, right? That is, will they only work with other banks like they have been for a long time? The odds are that we won't be able to get in right away. Most likely it would be other large banks, or you might need to keep some kind of XRP, right? If you have 5,000 or 10,000 XRP, they might let you open an account at this bank. I did say I would show you Fedwire, right? Every year they settle $1.00 quadrillion. It's 1,000 times bigger than a trillion. If people can't figure that out, Fedwire handles between $4.00 and $5 trillion, 0 cents every day. So as you look at Swift, Fedwire, and how Ripple and XRP can speed up these systems and move value instantly, it becomes clear that Ripple is not a normal company. Their goal has always been to be a lender of last choice. Right here, you can see the FedNow, FIS, and Finastra links to Ripple. You need to look at Volante's ties to Ripple, Jack Henry and Associates, and FIS. Isn't everything linked together? And as more people use crypto and stablecoins to send and receive money, Ripple, Circle, HBAR, and other blockchain platforms will become trillions of times more important. Do you know what's after that? 10 quadrillion, because in 10, 20, or 30 years, some of these blockchain networks will be worth that much. We're trying to figure that out right now. Which blockchain platforms will be used by a lot of people? That's the most important thing. As the saying goes, that's the whole story. Is that a proverb? Is there a cat in the bag? I believe it is. Okay, here are some links to Target 2. With the help of virtual currency infrastructure like Ripple, Target 2 in Europe has set the pace for standardizing payments between investment banks. When you look at the interledger interface, you can see how it connects siloed systems and gets them to work together again, connect different systems, and let value move between them. What if you could? You ever have a friend say, hey, I need to send you some money for something. Have you got, someone says, no, I have Venmo, and you say, well, I don't have Venmo. How do I send you money? Imagine being able to send money from Venmo to PayPal. That's the subject at hand, right? It's like being able to send and receive money from and to Visa and MasterCard. It doesn't matter what network they're on. That could be linked with Interledger protocol. I think that the speed with which Ripple can get banks up and going is a big reason why more and more banks will choose to work with them. Pay attention to this. This is going to blow your mind. This is very comfortable for you to get started with Ripple. How long does the process take? Yes, so we usually plan for 2 to 3 months from beginning to end. A lot of that is part of getting things up and running. So we go through a process to check our credit. After that, we have a training process that's pretty easy to understand. As for the technical side of things, I think it can take anywhere from 1 to 2 months. That includes testing, putting it all together, and just the process in general. Most likely, a 3-week execution was the fastest one I've ever done. It takes 3 weeks to set up Ripple's system in a bank and get it running. When most banks upgrade their infrastructure, it can take anywhere from 6 to 24 months based on how hard the upgrade is. It might take years to do this. It has been written in some places that the facilities will be improved in 3 to 5 years. It takes a while, but Ripple can connect a bank to the cryptocurrency markets, right? Into DeFi and linking TradeFi and DeFi.